What's up, everybody, and welcome into the H&M Trucking podcast. I'm your host, Marcus. Thank you so much for being here today. As always, we got a great episode planned for you, and we are off and running in a new year, but there is going to be a little bit of, how should I say it? Well, there's some podcast magic that's going to happen with this episode, okay? You guys need to know that we're going to talk about some New Year's themed stuff in this episode, kind of throughout this episode, because a lot of it is being recorded on the back half of 2024 rather than the front half of 2025. We got to get these things to our producers and to our editors so they can get them finished in time for it to grace your ears when it does. So you're going to hear us talk about some New Year's themed stuff today. Just understand that we're just getting it out of our systems, man. We're all actually ready for the party right now. I can't wait. Hope you guys are out with the family. If you are out on the road, hope you are being safe out there. Hope everybody had a great Christmas. Thank you for putting up with the clip shows and the Christmas-themed episodes. We had a lot of fun with those. But we're back now, and we're making fresh content, and there's no reason to be more excited, especially because I've got a couple of things. First of all, we have our awesome podcast website, podcast.hmtrucking.com. And it's kind of a one-stop shop for everything that you could want on the podcast, right? You can even contact me there. You can send me a message. You can email the show directly. And that's very important now because we are starting a new incentive program. We're kicking it off here in 2025 to give you an opportunity. We want your episode topic suggestions. It could be anything. Maybe you like the football episodes where we're talking about sports. Maybe you like the episodes where we're discussing something specific on the truck, be it maintenance or, four-wheelers and all the crazy stuff they do. Or you like it when we talk about truck stops. Or you want us to rank our favorite trucks again. Look, it can be anything under the sun that you think would be good on this podcast. If you send that suggestion in and we turn your suggestion into an episode, we're going to hook you up with a $25 credit to the H&M Trucking store so you can get yourself some new gear, be it a hat, maybe a shirt, maybe some gloves, something like that. I don't know all the stuff that they've got up there, but I know that they've got a lot of really cool stuff. I've seen it in the boxes and things when I've been out there at the terminal in Omaha. So really cool deal here. We want to give back to you guys a little bit. You drivers always help the show out just by virtue of coming on, but we want to go ahead and dangle the carrot out in front of you a little bit because at the end of the day, we want to be producing the content that you want to hear. So make your suggestions. Head over to the website, podcast.hmtrucking.com. You can also, if you have my personal cell phone number, which a lot of drivers out there do, just shoot me a text if you have a good idea for the show. I would love to hear from you as always. And the other thing I'll say, if you don't have my number, but maybe you pal around with one of the guys you hear on the show all the time, they're going to have my number. So get it from them. Again, we've long debated going live on this show with my phone number, but because we can't guarantee that it's just H&M employees and drivers that are listening, and it could be, crazy ex-girlfriends or whatever, I'm going to keep that thing under wraps, all right? Appreciate your understanding for now. We'll see if we can pivot on that a little bit later. But I want to hear from you guys, and I've got $25 credits to the gear shop for you if you reach out. So make sure to head over to the website again, podcast.hmtrucking.com. All right, what do we got going on episode 90? It's a good one. We got a couple different interviews here, and it's exciting because it's new stuff, okay? New year, new stuff. I love it. We've got Joe Flora coming on. He's a key account manager, and he is hanging out at that new lot that they opened out in Altoona, Iowa. We're going to talk to Joe about the lot, figure out kind of why the company decided to get that thing up and running, and figure out exactly what all the amenities are so you can go out there and check it out. From what I understand, lots of parking, nice little driver lounge in there. We'll talk to Joe. It's going to be his first time on the podcast, and I'm really looking forward to hearing about the new lot out there. After that, we are going to be joined by a new look safety team. And I don't want to spoil the surprise for you right now, so you're just going to have to wait. But as always, we get the safety team in here. We have a little bit of fun. This one, I'll be completely honest with you, went off the rails early, and it was 100% my fault. So look forward to that interview coming up with the safety team. And again, I don't want to tell you who's going to join because it's a bit of a surprise, and there's new structure in there for you as well. So lots of good stuff coming up on this episode, and the opportunity for you to earn a $25 credit to the H&M Trucking shop is nothing to scoff at. Episode 90 is off and running in the lane. Looking forward to talking to Joe Flora right now.
From Omaha, Nebraska, to whatever lane you're driving, this is the H&M Trucking Podcast with your host, Marcus Bridges.
Welcome back into the H&M Trucking Podcast. Excited for our next interview here. You know, H&M just dusted off a brand new shiny facility out in Altoona, Iowa. And today we are joined by the one man that staffs the location at this point in time. It's Key Account Manager for H&M Trucking, Joe Flora, joining Denny and I right now. Joe, first time on the podcast. Really appreciate your time. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Now, I understand we've had a drop lot in the Des Moines, Altoona location or area, for going back 15 years now. I want to turn to Denny here real quick. Denny, you had some thoughts. We were talking off the air before we came on here about the Altoona lot that you experienced when you were driving for H&M. You asked me a question about this new lot immediately. What was that question?
Is it paved?
Is it paved? It was the very first thing that when I was talking to Brian Gurnett and Ryan Holm about this, Joe, that was one of the very first things they brought up. We can rejoice in telling all the drivers right now the lot is paved, correct?
Correct. It's paved. I know exactly what he's talking about. The old lot on the north side of the property where we're at now. Yeah, you get wintertime or just a lot of rain, that place would just turn into a big pond, a lot of mud. You can't see, the drop pads, nothing. Well, now we got concrete. Could use a little bit of work, but you got a bathroom you can go to now. So that's even a huge plus.
That's way better than just having a puddle out there, right?
True.
Especially those yellow puddles.
Yeah, those are the ones we want to dodge in the parking lots for sure.
Yep.
But it's all paved out there now, so a better place for you to park your truck, not as much mud and stuff to worry about. Understand, Joe, that we also doubled the space out there, correct? So we got a lot more room for the drivers to maneuver out there?
Yep. We got, I think the other day, I counted close 15, maybe 20 trailers sitting there. We got them all lined up on the east side of the lot, all on concrete. Plenty of room for a guy to pull in, try to straighten himself out, and then back straight in so you're not doing it at angles and stuff like that. There's room for a guy to park at night. There's even some plugins like this time of the year. There's a few outlets at least plug your truck into. There's a truck stop not even a block away to go get a bite to eat or something like that. And, they've got an area that they can get into that's got reclining chairs, a table to sit down on. We've got a computer all set up inside there. That way, if they want to go in and check out their own, personal emails or whatever, they got access. And, the key one was a bathroom.
Yeah, that's a big one. And I get that, not being a truck driver myself, but loving road trips. There's got to be a bathroom pretty much anywhere you stop, right? Nobody is stopping at any place that doesn't have a bathroom, regardless of what you're doing out there on the road. So thinking about that from that angle, it's a really great deal. And, having another place where the drivers can just kind of go and hang out, spend some time, take a little break, rest up a bit. And then also, it's right there off I-80 for the most part. It seems like you guys got a lot of truck traffic coming through there, so it can be utilized by a lot of the H&M drivers. And Ryan actually told me that one of H&M's biggest and fastest growing customers, which is Pella Windows, is out there just about 40 miles east of you guys. So that's got to work out perfectly.
Yep. They're just to the southeast of Altoona a little bit. Another one of our big customers is straight up the road on I-35 in Story City. So yeah, I mean, for where we're located, it's perfect. I mean, you're kind of at what they always say, the crossroads of the United States between 35 and 80. It's a great spot. Like you said, right off the interstate, truck stop there. If a guy gets bored on the weekend and he's there, there's a casino just 2-3 blocks down the road. So
I might have to come visit. Now that I know there's a casino and I can get some chips on the table, Joe. Well, tell me about this. I want to know, are you getting lonely out there yet? Do a lot of drivers, have they been stopping through to check the place out and keeping you company, or are you kind of a ghost town out there right now?
Little of both. There's times where, it gets a little quiet, but for where the lot is, there's still so much other traffic going on in the area. So there's always noise going on. But yeah, I mean, the local shag guys always swing by, even if they don't stop in the office, they'll knock on the window when they go in to go to the bathroom. A lot of the over the road guys will come in, and my office is actually separate from the driver's lounge areas. So they'll just poke their head in and just say, well, I just saw our lounge. I wanted to see where you are. So they come in and see where I'm at. So it's not bad. I've been used to it. I mean, when you work at home, you're usually by yourself anyway. So as long as you got a little bit of radio or something for background noise, not too bad.
And so you told me off the air that this is actually the third or maybe even fourth location for you, because you've been to 3 offices and worked from home now. So do you have a favorite out of any of them? I mean, do you like the solitude out there at Altoona, or were you preferring the digs at home? Because I'm seeing your background right now at home. Looks pretty comfortable, I'll be honest with you.
I'll say being at home is nice. Even if, I mean, when you're at home, you can just kind of get up, walk around, do whatever. Even the office, I like it too. I mean, because there at least you can see the drivers come by or whatever. The location where we're at right now is probably the best, just because, the drivers do stop by. Mm-hmm. The other ones were just kind of stand by themselves office. No one ever came around kind of thing. So at least here, a guy can pop his head in, and 9 times out of 10, they're like going, who the heck are you? I've never seen you in Omaha. It's like, I don't get over there a whole lot, but I'm not here on my own a little bit.
Yeah, well, and hey, it's good that the drivers are stopping by to say hi, because if they were doing that at your house, if they were stopping by and knocking on the window at your house, we might have to have a conversation or two.
Might be a little different there. I'm not sure the neighborhood would want the truck parked out front.
Yeah,
so.
right. Danny, did you have anything?
Listening, and I think it's wonderful. They've needed a new lot in Altoona for some time, because just the problems of trailers and landing gear sinking in the mud, and you can't see, and it freezes over, there's snow, you crank down the landing gear, and if it's a heavy trailer, it sinks through, and then the next driver's got a problem, and it's past time for something new. So I'm glad that y'all moved on that. Congratulations to the drivers on this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Big congratulations. And Denny, you were sharing some thoughts with me about your feelings on I-35. Joe mentioned that, kind of being a cross-section there of America. Can we get a quick synopsis from you, Denny, real quick, on your thoughts on Interstate 35? You had some colorful things to say.
I hate 35 in Texas, but up there, not so much. But he's absolutely right. I was thinking Story City's right there, Pella's right there. You're not that far from so many other things. You got truck stops on either side of Des Moines, plus east of Des Moines, north of Des Moines. So strategically, it's a great spot.
It really sounds like it. It really does. And Joe, I want to talk to you a little bit about kind of your role with the company. Key account manager is what I've got here for you. Now, you said, you were able to work from home, not somebody that needed to be on site all the time. And so that's why maybe some of the drivers don't know exactly who you are or what it is that you do for the company. So I want to give them a chance to kind of peek behind the curtain on what Joe Flora's day looks like.
Well, like you said, key account manager. I oversee Winfield United, which is a chemical company. They're the ones located up in Story City. They're based out of Minnesota, but we ship a ton of farm chemicals here in the Midwest. So that is, I believe, still our largest customer gross wise that we've had for I don't know how many years now. In the last few years, I've also taken over Armstrong ceilings, your little ceiling tiles and stuff like that. So yeah, they for some reason they thought I'd be the right one to take over two of our biggest accounts. It'll definitely keep you busy certain times of the year. So, like this time of the year, it's getting cold out. So, one customer is like, well, I don't want my chemicals freezing. So you got the heated trailers and keeping track of everything going through the system here. And then I kind of play the middleman between us. So when customer is upset or has questions, it all goes through me before it goes through the home office in Omaha. So, and then if I ever need help or something like that, or just need to bounce, topics off of people, I go to Brian or Ryan and Scott and stuff like that. So, the support is always there, but I always try to take as much as that heat from the customer away from them so that sometimes it just doesn't need to trickle down.
Okay, I got you. So it sounds to me kind of like, Joe, they put you out there in a building by yourself, so if customers are shelling you, they're kind of at least at arm's length, so it's not going to hit them with any shrapnel, yeah?
Yeah, and with Winfield, being their biggest location was up in Story City, having a face over here helps out a lot. Or, every so often I run up there just to, like you said, get a face in front of the people rather than just, a voice on a phone or an email, something like that. Take them lunch, do something just simple. So that way it just kind of keeps that connection you got with your customer rather than just everything being electronic or something like that.
Sure. Well, buying somebody lunch goes so far. It's amazing how the little gestures like that. I like to say it in my experience in sales, Joe. I was always trying to remember everybody out here is fighting a battle, and I don't know anything about any of them. So I should just try to be nice and give a present every now and then. It really is a great tactic, and people appreciate it. Denny, I wonder if you're taking notes right now. I still haven't seen you buy me lunch yet, so I'm just wondering if are you jotting this down?
I was saying the same thing.
Yeah.
You haven't bought me lunch.
All right, we're going to start a fight here if we're not too careful. Well, Joe, is there anything else here that you want to talk about, about the new location? Obviously, Denny, I want to clear some space if you have any more questions for Joe before we let him get back to work. But, as far as the Altoona location is going, it seems like everything's kind of going off without a hitch. We got more space. We got a paved lot. Anything else that we've missed at this point in time that we should talk about before we let you go?
Not to my knowledge. I mean, unless there was, if a guy shows up and there's something that, any sort of an idea that he might think would be a nice change to the area, let us know. I mean, that's a beautiful thing with, James run the company. He's open to ideas. So, and, the drivers are the face of the company. They're the ones out there all day long. So yeah, if they got a comment or concern, you gotta throw it at us. Otherwise we can't fix anything or make it better for you.
Okay, absolutely. It's great. It's great to bring that up because you're 100% correct on that. James is very open to ideas. In fact, I'd like to go ahead and put one out there on the table. James, have we thought about getting a craps table in the lounge so that the drivers don't have to cross the street? I know that they're, we talk about safety. We want to be safe here. Those guys can throw rocks. I'm just joking, but
you have to see the table he has in their lounge area then.
Oh yeah, is it pretty big there?
Or? Yeah. It looks like it should be in a conference room somewhere. So.
Okay, gotcha. Well, we can throw dice on that. I'm willing to bet.
Easily.
Denny, any more questions for Joe before we let him get out of here?
Just one from a driver's perspective. Would y'all have things like anti-gel and straps and stuff like that there so you could depend on picking them up, or is that something you still got to grab out of Omaha?
I do have a bunch of straps there. Still working on the anti-gel stuff. Because I know one of the shag guys brought that up to me that I guess Menards sells some really, really good stuff over there that's usually a little cheaper than getting it at the truck stops. Still working on that. Yeah, if a guy swings through and he needs straps, we've actually got a room over in the driver's area. We just keep the door locked, but I can get in there, I've got boxes of straps in there because we've got enough customers in the area that say, well, when I have a mixed load, I need 10 to 15 straps for a trailer. So having the extra ones there at a moment's notice and I can run them wherever I need to is a great thing. So yeah, plenty of those around. I think I got a few placards, not very many, but a lot of straps.
Good to know.
Perfect. Well, sounds like we've given you the rundown on the new lot out there in Altoona, Iowa. Stop by and see Joe sometime. At least knock on his window. Let him know you're thinking about him because he is all by himself out there. Joe, we really appreciate the time. It's good to get to know you. Maybe we'll check in with you here in 3 or 6 months once some time's behind us and see how things are going out there. See if any drivers have suggested any big changes or anything, okay?
That'll work for me.
Awesome. That's Joe Flora, key account manager with H&M. He's working out there at the Altoona lot. Have a great one, Joe. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, Marcus.
Welcome back into the H&M Trucking Podcast. Very excited for this next segment as we've already been sitting here laughing for 10 or 15 minutes just trying to get ourselves together, actually get myself together. Denny, we are joined right now by the safety department, and the safety department today consists of Sherry Vogler, who everyone knows. She is the brand spanking new safety manager at H&M Trucking. Give her a round of applause. Sherry, congratulations on the new position. Thank you for joining us today. What do you think so far? I mean, we're just kind of getting our feet wet here, but we've given you a week or so to get rounded around. How's the new job in safety?
I mean, it's good. I'm just trying to dig out, kind of feel my way around and get things kind of back where they need to be. Our safety scores are a little bit up, so we need to bring those back down and, kind of focus on that right now.
I like it. You notice how Denny, she's immediately starting to sell it. Like the very first thing she said is safety manager. Oh, CSA scores. We've talked about CSA scores with you before, Sherry, just by virtue of you being so involved with the podcast. But now it's something you actually have to be like very concerned about. Is that a big change for you? Kind of a monumental shift from what you were doing before with recruiting?
No, I don't think so. I think it all works together. I mean, you want to have a good CSA score, one, for your drivers that are already here. We don't want to go into mandatory pull-in. We want to have it relates to our customers. Our customers look at your CSA scores. And also, even when you're recruiting, those incoming drivers also pull your CSA scores. So, I mean, I think it all just works together as a company whole. But now I just need to, I guess I get more opportunity to focus on it and, see if we can bring them down.
Absolutely. And on the podcast here, we're all about safety, but we also try to make safety as fun as we can. And having you in the safety department now, I think is going to help out a lot with that. Another fun member of the safety department we've had on the podcast before, but it's been a while, I will say, is Miss Shelly Bridger. Now, Sherry is a safety specialist. I did it! God damn it, I did it! I saw Tegan's head. Tegan was the only one I could see on the camera, and I saw her head snap over. You guys, okay, peek behind the scenes here. We have a new employee with us today that I was going to introduce you to, and she just on the podcast, caught my gaff so bad.
Daddy?
I was talking about this 3 minutes ago. 3 minutes ago, I was saying I don't want to mess this up. I have it written right in front of me. I looked right at Sherry's name and put Shelly's last name behind it.
That hat needs to come off your head.
Oh, come on.
It's stuck in your brain, totally.
I deserve that. And I deserve all of it, okay? I promise you. Shelly, I'm so sorry. And I think I did it to you the last time you were on the show,
If he does it again, he has to take the cap off.
Exactly.
I think Mike's making his money this time.
Yeah. Sorry, Mike. Mike, our audio editor. He's going to be up late with this one. And Denny, I said this off the air. You can't come at me with a hat like that on and that attitude. You got a Margaritaville hat on right now, and
Yeah.
I feel like you're really You're laying down some ultimatums here, and this hat is my whole personality. If I take this thing off, you guys are going to see my bald spot, and nobody's going to listen to this podcast again, okay? That's very important. So
I've seen it. It's distracting.
Maybe Ashley could tattoo you a hair thing. Do you like a Charlie Brown deal?
Just don't make me take my hat off. Like I said, it's between the hat and the beard, 98% of my personality lies in the top 8 inches of my body, okay? It's just the hat and the beard. It's all I have.
I can spray paint it for you.
My bald spot?
Yeah.
Listen, it already looks like a crop circle, so let's
Pink, green, blue.
At least he's not doing a comb over.
Hey, my grandpa, he had a comb over that was so bad when I was very young that I was like, that's something I'm never going to do. And I was like 14 when I decided that, and I wasn't going bald yet. So
Thank God for
anyway,
caps.
I've got to dial this thing in, Denny. I'm losing it. This break, I feel so bad for Mike already. Oh my God. Let's get back around to it. I'm making such a terrible first impression on our new employee here. Everybody's laughing at me. Okay. Let's go ahead. Pull it all together, Denny.
Remember, y'all, he's in charge.
Oh, God. He just keeps going. I can shut your mic off from here. You know that, right? That's the only time that I've threatened to do that. I can shut it off. I can kick you out of the chat. They're talking about leaving the chat because I'm so discombobulated today. I'll kick you out of the chat, Denny.
What?
All right.
All right, I'll shut up. I'll be good.
We're keeping all of this in, Mike, because people need to know that I am human, and I am having a very rough time right now. But I want to go ahead and give credit where credit is due because she has come on the podcast before with us. She actually brought her husband on and played the newlywed game with us on a Valentine's Day episode. It's still one of my favorite segments of all time. Please welcome the correctly named Shelly Bridger, safety specialist, to the show. Shelly, my apologies. Welcome back. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
How's everything in the safety department, since that's what we're talking about?
You've been busy.
Yeah? Busy in a good way or busy in a bad way?
I don't know. Maybe both.
Okay. All right. Hey, I get it. Sometimes it happens. We have a third member of the safety department with us today. Destinee Andrews is the claim specialist. She's joined us before as well. Destinee, we appreciate your time. Thank you for being here.
No problem.
Picking up the sarcasm there. What's new in the world of safety, Destinee?
Never a dull moment.
Okay, well, we're proving that today. And a brand new employee for the H&M Trucking family, the safety team, is joining us as well. Her name is Tegan Tindall. She's a safety specialist. Tegan, we kicked you into the deep end of the pool this morning. How's treading water going? Are you enjoying this? Did you think you would be on a podcast within like the first 3 days of your employment with H&M Trucking?
No, I didn't. I didn't know I was going to do this.
We're
right into it.
Yep, sink or swim. I emailed Sherry yesterday and I said, you're really throwing her to the wolves. And she said, yeah, sink or swim. So keep that head above water. We'll have some fun in here today, obviously. But we're really glad that you're joining us here. You're by far the newest employee that's ever come on this podcast. So we're sort of doing a live test of this, like a stress test to see how you'll hold up. So far, you're doing great.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. So let's get back to Sherry, and I do mean Sherry Vogler. I'm going to go ahead and use full names here to make sure that I am on the right track. Talk to me about the safety committee. We talked about this a little bit in a meeting where we were putting this idea for this episode together, and this is sort of a new thing that you guys have got going, the safety committee. How much have you gotten ironed out of that, and what is it intended to do, Sherry?
I mean, we really haven't gotten a lot of it ironed out yet, but the intention of it is to make sure that everybody's involved. I think in the past it's been mostly just leadership. And the idea of a safety committee is for it to actually not be leadership and to have people from each department, shop, everybody involved, as well as some drivers. So I know it's something that we're kind of working on putting together for this upcoming year and kind of see how logistically it'll work getting those drivers in here for meetings and things like that. but I think it's something important that we need to have. I think that, hoping like starting in January, we'll start kind of making those changes and maybe, get that kind of set up and get those meetings started.
Very cool. Denny, I want your thoughts on that, involving the drivers in a sort of safety committee. What do you think? How, when you hear Sherry talk about it, obviously we haven't ironed out the details yet, but when she was telling me about this in the meeting, I was thinking about you the whole time because I just wanted to know what you thought about that.
I think it's a good idea. Logistically, how are you going to get them in? I could see if you do a conference call, but if you're going to try to physically have them in Omaha all at the same time, is that going to cut into their driving time?
Well, I mean, honestly, technically it's only going to be 2 drivers. So, I mean, we would just have to be able to get those 2 drivers or 3 drivers in once a month.
Okay. So maybe something that you might do even strategically where you pick somebody that's kind of local to the area or something like that if they're willing to jump in and participate.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly.
Perfect. Okay. I like it. Well, there we go. We didn't quite get 10 minutes out of the business segment of this podcast, but that's okay because it's largely my fault. I don't know people's names. I'm having quite the morning. I am in charge, like Denny said, but sometimes I wonder why. I've brought some things to do that are a little bit fun this morning, and I kind of sent it to you guys last minute, so I've got some things prepared here, but I started thinking about how to make safety fun on the podcast because Sherry, Shelly, Destinee, Tegan, eventually, we've had a lot of fun on this show. Every time you guys come on here, we end up laughing about something, whether it's the recruiting department, the safety team. We're always trying to enjoy our time, and that was kind of what this next bit came out of. I asked you guys to come up with your favorite safety pop culture thing, and that sounds pretty broad. In fact, I have an email here from Denny, and then maybe we could read it live. Denny, you didn't swear in this at all, did you? Oh, no, you sent me a Band-Aid commercial. I like it. I can't play it right now because obviously I wasn't prepared for this at all, but I did prepare my favorite pop culture thing. Denny, is yours anything besides the Band-Aid commercial?
I don't know if you call it my favorite. I was going to say my wife's favorite. She's discovered Grey's Anatomy lately. In the last few months.
That's a big safety show.
We rarely go more than one day without watching at least an episode or two. And, I'm like, baby, you go ahead and watch it. I'm going to go do some other stuff. And every once in a while she has to pause it so she can catch me up of who's sleeping with who and who died and who left. And but she's into it, man. She's halfway through. There's 30-something episodes or 30-something seasons of this thing, I think. And she's about halfway through it.
Wow. Lots of, in fact, a decided lack of safe sex in the in Grey's Anatomy. It sounds like. I know that it's kind of themed around the medical department and everything, and it's all the nurses and doctors carrying on, but lots of seeming like unprotected sex through the staff there. So something that's probably not safe. I don't know, Sherry, if you want to check in on this and talk about how safe something like that would be. Seems like they kind of dance outside company lines there a little bit on Grey's Anatomy. What do you think?
I mean, I guess if they're throwing a condom commercial in there, they'll be fine.
Which is why you go to Sherry for questions like that, Denny.
Use a surgical glove. They have assorted sizes there.
Which is why you don't go to Denny for follow-up on that question, safety department. Okay. So you got, so it's your wife's favorite, definitely not yours. I get it. My wife and I have a couple of shows like that where I want to watch it, but I only want to see it for 15 minutes every hour. So I'll kind of stand over the top of her chair and watch, and then she'll catch me up, and then I'll go back upstairs. Totally understand that.
I'm more lowbrow. I'm more like a Cops kind of guy,
Oh, you like watching Cops, like the old body cam footage?
Yeah. Doesn't have a lot of a plot line, but it's easy to follow.
Is that your favorite song, Denny? Bad boys, bad boys.
I mean, I would have pegged him for a Walker Texas Ranger type of guy.
That's what I was thinking. And
yeah,
I'll
the
tell
old
you
one,
what,
not
if
the new
anybody
one.
knows.
No, and
Yeah,
Chuck Norris.
One.
Yeah, this young guy didn't do it for me at all.
When Chuck Norris does push-ups, he doesn't actually push himself up. He pushes the world down. You knew that?
Jeez.
Of course, you got to remember, I came along when Dragnet was still going,
No, I don't. I have no idea what you just said. Is that a thing? What's Dragnet?
It's a TV show.
God, you're a baby.
It was a TV show. Did you guys have to
It
crank
was in
start
black
the TV
and white.
when it
You
was
probably
on?
never
Yeah,
watched it.
Right, yeah, that's kind of what I figured. Your TVs had radiators back then. I'm sorry. This is the one, I will die on this hill. I am a baby when it comes to that. All right. My favorite pop culture thing, I got a few here, and I want to kind of run them by you guys. Safety pop culture thing. I'm going to go against the grain a little bit here. I'm going to say, and Sherry, Shelly, Destinee, Tegan, we'll check in with you on what you think here. I'm thinking Breaking Bad is one of my favorite safety pop culture things, and I'll tell you why. Have you guys seen Breaking Bad? Everybody know what I'm talking about here before I give you this synopsis?
Never seen it.
Don't ever want to see it again.
Don't ever want to see it again. Never seen it. Okay, so it's a teacher with cancer. He decides that he's going to make meth to try to pay for his medical bills. 6 seasons of chaos ensues. No spoilers. I will tell you why I don't think this is safe. They cook a lot of meth in an old rickety motorhome, and the fact that the first or second episode where they're cooking in their underwear doesn't just zoom out and watch the desert just engulf in flames as this motorhome explodes, I think is a bad sell. I think the directors and the show producers didn't think about something like that. They didn't want to add that to their plot line and ruin the show in season 1. But they should have blown those guys up, because I don't feel like they get through to multi-mega million-dollar meth empire without blowing at least a finger off. So I'm going to say it's one of my favorite pop culture things, or safety pop culture things, because it's done so poorly. So since none of you have seen it, though, we'll go ahead and leave that off. How about this one? This one's swimming upstream as well. Jackass, Denny, is one of my favorite safety pop culture things. The legend, the icon that is Jackass. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think I'd shoot my TV if I had to watch that.
Oh, you are missing out. Shelly, you strike me as a Jackass person.
I look like a Jackass person?
You like it? You seem like you would have fun watching somebody like get hit by a car while riding in a shopping cart.
Maybe.
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 Destinee, how about you? Are you a Jackass person? Destinee, you're a little closer to the generation.
Oh,
Is
really
that
go
something?
for it.
That's all I do is I watch stupid shit happen all day.
Okay, so I'm gonna say. I get what you did there. The drivers are going to hear that, and they're going to be like, hey, wait a second. Okay, so since you've seen it's not always them? It's probably Jackson
it's
a fair
lot
bit of the
the
time, isn't it?
four-wheelers. They think that, they can stop right on a dime, and that's not how it works. Either that or their favorite thing to do is when you merge onto the highway, they think that you have to let them over, but that is not the law. If you're occupying a lane, they have to wait. And then they play chicken with the semi, and then they lose.
So, lesson learned here, the semis are a menace in that lane because they can be, and they should be, and they shouldn't be maneuvering to try to get around you. So if you're a four-wheeler, take a little advice from Destinee here. You are not allowed to merge just because you want to. You got to merge into traffic, I believe is how the law reads. Denny, you could probably
New show
catch us up.
idea, Jackass, semi-truck style.
There you go. I do like that. I'll tell you why, Destinee, I'll tell you why I put Jackass in as my favorite safety pop culture thing. The fact that none of those guys have died on set yet, I think is like a paramount achievement in the world of safety. Like that, we should have killed 6 of those guys off by season 3, just by virtue of the stunts they do, and they're all still alive and kicking, save for the ones that haven't passed away in different manners. I gotta say, this is a safety milestone in my opinion. What do you think?
Okay. I don't know what else.
I really got her. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm a hell of a debater, and I really did I crushed it right there. So I get it.
There's too many words there. My brain kind of checked out.
I feel like you should be wearing the margarita hat today, your Margaritaville hat.
Marcus gave this a lot more thought than the rest of us, I guess.
Well, exactly.
I was worried we weren't going to have enough to talk about, so yeah, I did a little bit of writing yesterday. I also wrote a tongue twister that I thought was really funny. It's Sherry sells Shelly shells by the CSA score, and I got it the first time.
Oh, you're bored.
Guys, I'm coming off of 5 days off.
Yeah, you got way too much time on your hands.
I was coming off of 5 days off, okay? I was bored yesterday.
So you can say that correctly, but you can't introduce people by the right name?
I knew that was coming. I had that coming. That was Babe Ruth and a ball on a tee right there. That was nothing but fence. I think we can let you ladies get back to your work here. I know we're coming up. We're recording this just for a little bit of peek behind the curtain sake on New Year's Eve. It's a short day for the office there at H&M Trucking, and y'all are headed out. Let's ask that question real quick. Sherry, we'll start with you. A, how was Christmas? B, what are the plans tonight, and how much tequila does it involve?
Well, Christmas was great. My grandson got a monster truck, and he absolutely loved it. So we got to take him outside, let him ride on that grave digger. We just celebrated, had a really good time. Tonight, I don't drink tequila. I had a hot fight with Jose and put my hand through a headlight one time, so I don't do that anymore. So
let's talk about the safety aspects of punching headlights on tequila, if you don't mind.
I didn't punch the headlight. I didn't punch it.
the vehicle.
I leaned against it, and my butt pushed my hand through the headlight.
And here I had visions of the guy did her wrong, and she's beating the hell out of his car.
That's what I was thinking. I had carry on. I drove my hand into the headlight of his four-wheel drive. I thought that for sure this was going to be a fun story, but we were just leaning.
I fell backwards.
All right. So no tequila for you, but what are the New Year's plans bringing?
I don't even know. I don't really have plans. I'm probably going to drink some vodka in the hot tub and just enjoy the night.
Maybe take a ride in Gravedigger. I think you should do that after a bottle of vodka.
That would be fun. If I drank enough, I could totally do that.
We would like to remind you that the H&M Trucking Podcast does not condone drinking and driving, whether it be in a Power Wheels or a regular vehicle.
And don't listen to Southeast Nebraska Scanner.
They're going to be like, we got Sherry, Shelly, it's Sherry Vogler. Sherry's out here. Shelly Bridger. They're not going to mess it up like I did. Shelly, how about you? Did you have a good Christmas? And do we have any big plans for the big evening tonight?
Oh, my Christmas was actually pretty gay. I didn't have as much as fun as Sherry and her monster truck. My Christmas was good, and the only plans I have tonight is to stay home off the roads and drink my own rum and Coke at home.
Awesome. Well, Happy New Year. Hope you enjoy it. Destinee, I promise this is the last question I'll ask you, but how was your Christmas, and do you have big plans for New Year's tonight? Are you over me and ready to go hit the party?
Christmas was good, and, I'm just ready to go home and take a nap. Maybe make some dinner and hopefully take 4 shots of vodka. That's why I can be asleep by 10 o'clock.
Okay, so not a big watch the ball drop and enjoy the festivities person. You're early to bed, early to rise type?
Not early to rise, just sleep. She's got her Welch's grape sparkling drink too.
Awesome. Well, enjoy it. And hey, I went to bed by 10:30 last year on New Year's Eve, and I woke up feeling great. It was actually pretty cool. Would highly recommend it once you start dipping into the late 30s, early 40s, because getting yourself hungover in one year and being hungover 2 or 3 days into the next really doesn't make you feel good when you look in the mirror in the morning. That's what I figured out. So little advice from me there, and that's kind of safety themed if you think about it. Destinee, Sherry, Shelly, I didn't tell you all. Thank you for being here. And finally, Tegan, I know we didn't talk to you very much here. We kind of kicked you into the pool a little bit. I want to ask you, I hope you had a good Christmas. I hope things are going to be fun tonight. If you have any plans, we definitely share them with us. But how are you feeling about the podcast and this whole job that you have now?
I'm feeling fine. I'm still learning the job, but I don't know. It's good.
She's like, as long as I don't have to do this every day, I think I'll make it. Yeah. Totally get it.
Oh, we didn't tell you you're going to be the official podcast spokesperson for safety.
Yeah. You're the third co-host. They hired you to get between Denny and I when we start getting lippy. So I hope you're good at conflict resolution. No, but all jokes aside, very glad to have you here, and I hope that we'll be able to get in touch with you later once you kind of get your feet wet in the job. We'll bring you back on the podcast and actually talk a little bit about what you're doing on the day-to-day so the drivers can get to know you. But we really appreciate you coming in here, not that you've really had a choice today. So, Sherry, thanks for bringing your new safety crew in. You feel like this is kind of your whole new family, and you got like a new group of people to party with. I kind of like this.
Me too. It's a good group. I think we'll do some really good things. I think we have the right people in the right place, and hopefully we'll be able to make safety a little bit fun, but yet effective.
Awesome. Sherry Vogler, Shelly Bridger, Tegan Tindall, and Destinee Andrews. That's your safety department on the H&M Trucking podcast today. Ladies, Happy New Year. Thank you for putting up with me today. Really appreciate it. Hope you all have a fun and safe celebration. We'll get you back on here soon, okay?
All right.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Never a dull moment with that group of ladies, Denny. And if there was ever an episode that would show you how on my game I have to be with certain people on this podcast, I think the safety department are the ones where you got to be on your game because they'll call you on everything. And I wasn't really on my game today, and I got called on some stuff by both you and them. So,
that's okay, Marvin. We can roll with it.
we can roll with it. And we did. Always have fun having the ladies on, and I promise one day I will get Sherry and Shelly's names figured out, but they do make me feel good because they've told me many times that everybody mixes up their names, and I don't know why I have so much trouble with Sherry and Shelly. I've had people in my life before who have similar
Maybe
names.
Just
or even
nickname them Thing 1, 2, and 3.
Well, I don't know. Did you see Destiny's face in there today, Denny? I think if I called her Thing 3, she might reach through the internet and rip my throat out of my neck. Listen, I get it. The ladies, that was huge of them because it is the very last thing they're going to do before they take off and go enjoy the rest of their 2024.
Vodka
so
and rum and Cokes
exactly.
And
So I was. You and I, Denny, were just standing in the way of the party right there, and that kind of explains why we were doing a little bit more giggling and a little less business here. But before we let everybody go and enjoy their New Year's, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about what you've got going on tonight. Now, I know everybody is probably listening to this going, what the hell? This is a week after the new year. Why are you guys talking about it? We're recording it a little bit in advance, of course, and as I said, we're recording this on New Year's Eve, so it only stands to reason that we talk about it a little bit, especially because last week was a clip show, and we're actually live and recording new content this week. So big plans for you tonight, Denny. I know because you got that Margaritaville hat on, there must be a party in your future somewhere.
There is, but before I get to that, I got to tell you about this morning. We're watching the news, and you know how the morning news on TV cycles. It does about 30 minutes, and then it pretty much starts over.
Yep.
And, I'm piddling around doing other things, and every once in a while I hear my wife just giggling. Apparently, the forecast for New York and Times Square is torrential rain, and every time she heard them talking about it, she starts giggling.
Man,
I don't know why,
that.
but I love to hear my wife giggle. So that was this morning. Tonight, we're going to ring in the new year, U.S. Virgin Islands time, I guess. Okay, my wife and I are going over to my best friend's house, who's 2 years older than me. She lives in Wimberley, a little town up in Central Texas. And she and her mom are actually making a big feast. They're making turkey and dressing and black-eyed peas and cornbread and all this stuff. And, her mom is a year younger than Dad, so that makes her, Dad'll be 93 next week, so 92.
Wow.
So, yeah, we're not waiting until midnight, thank you very much. We're going to ring in the new year actually about 9 o'clock our time and say, okay, we're out of here.
There you go.
But, that's why my wife's in there making homemade Kahlua right now because we're taking Kahlua over. Personally, it's probably Shiner Bock for me. I'll have a couple of beers and that'll be good. But the ladies, man, they enjoy their mixed drinks. They come up with all these crazy cocktails and, so they'll be having fun. I'll likely be the designated driver, so I'm not drinking a lot, but it'll be fun.
Good. Well, it sounds like a good time, and I'll tell you, I would love to try some of the homemade Kahlua. There's nothing better for me during the holidays. If I'm going to enjoy anything other than eggnog, like a Tom and Jerry, eggnog with a little whiskey in it, I love a White Russian around the holidays, and I don't know why. I really don't drink vodka. You're not going to find vodka around or in me 364 days of the year. For a White Russian, she doesn't use vodka?
She used to make her Kahlua with moonshine, but our supplier, we lost our supplier when we moved.
I'll tell you, Denny, I don't think I can keep up with Dawn.
She's using 190 proof Everclear in it.
Oh, okay. So you don't need
you don't need to add any liquor to her Kahlua.
Okay. All right. I don't know if I could keep up with Dawn, to be honest with you, Denny. I've run into moonshine only a couple times in my life, and it's never turned out well. So, but I love a good White Russian, and this is one time, all of you Central Time Zoners, you love the Central Time Zone. You guys operate on it. It's a really good spot. It's right in the middle, right? You got one side of the coast on you, the other side of the coast, and they're both doing their own things, but you guys have a pretty well-defined Central Time Zone. Well, the one advantage that West Coast time gives, aside from not having to watch football games after midnight, is the fact that if you want to do a little bit of an early bird celebration, the ball drops at 9 o'clock, and then they drop it again at 10 o'clock, and then they drop it again at 11 o'clock, and they replay it. You can just celebrate along with Times Square if you really want to, and be in bed by like 9 or 10 o'clock, which is what we did last year. I'm not going to party much. My wife actually, this is kind of funny, she plays Dungeons & Dragons with her friends from the tattoo shop, and they normally play on Tuesday nights, and they've decided they're going to play, and we're hosting the Dungeons & Dragons party. So I'm going to have 4 cosplayers in my kitchen playing Dungeons & Dragons and swinging swords and shit later tonight.
Our youngest boy has been a dungeon master for years.
It really is a cool thing. I love to see how excited they get about it. I didn't get involved in this one, but I will be honest with you. I come from the generation that kind of made fun of Dungeons & Dragons a lot, but I see how much fun they're having, and I kind of really want to play. Have you ever tried?
No.
Not for you? You more of a Monopoly guy?
Oh, hell, I hate Monopoly. I want to kill people after I play Monopoly. The game that will never frickin' end. No, thank you. I'm more of a cards and dominoes kind of guy. I told you I'm old.
Well, I was gonna say Mousetrap. You remember Mousetrap?
Yeah, that was when I was a kid.
Right, because they did like an updated version for me, that wasn't made out of wood and screws and sticks like it was when you were a kid.
I think it was plastic. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry. I had to. I'm sorry. It's one last shot for the 2024, and I'm going to open a new book and start a new chapter in 2025. Okay, Denny?
Okay. Quit picking on the old fart.
All right. I appreciate you putting up with me. Well, listen, I know we've all got plans here, so I want to let you get out of here, but I will say this as we kind of wrap up our year here on the podcast. Loved having you here, Denny. The podcast is so much better with you as a part of it, and I appreciate you putting up with me and all the screwy antics and everything. This has been a lot of fun in 2024, and I'm very excited to see what 2025 has in store for us as far as our recording is concerned. So apologies to the drivers for giving you a little bit of New Year's sappiness here towards the end of a show that's happening a week after. But as I said, we needed to get it in. I feel like that stuff is important to say, Denny.
Yeah, I think so. And speaking of drivers, if you can talk one into coming by, I can put a little bottle of Kahlua together for you and send it up that way. I think that's called bootlegging.
I do. We may or may not be within the confines of the law if we're going to do that, but I love the idea, Denny. Only if they'll listen to Convoy while they're driving it over here, so I can know that this is like true. Actually, what kind of stuff were they listening to during Prohibition? It was like what, in the 20s? Just listen to period specific music like you're a real rum runner from back in the day before NASCAR. If you're going to bring this stuff,
Louis Armstrong was around back then.
There you go. Is that Louis Armstrong something you think of that you're going to listen to when you're going fast, though?
No, that's more
what
like...
the hell? Play Van Halen, okay? Just get it here.
You got to talk to the driver about that. I'm just the middleman.
Okay, all right. And the middleman that shall remain nameless. I love it, Denny. Let's bootleg some of your wife's Kahlua up here to Oregon so I can share it, sample it. I'm sure it'll light my hair on fire. Thanks for being here today. We're going to wrap this one up. Stay fresh, cheese bags, into the new year, and do be safe out there. Got some crazy weather that I've been reading about moving through, and we're going to be dealing with it. So want to make sure everybody stays safe, has a happy new year, and a great start to 2025. Denny, thanks for being here today. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to the H&M Trucking Podcast. Please leave a review, subscribe, and connect with Marcus over at the H&M Trucking social media channels. And if you're considering a job at H&M, find us at hmtrucking.com. Until next time, stay safe and ahead of the curve drivers.